Good morning, everybody. I'm Shane Chacha here with another health supplement tip for the day. So today's topic is something that's very close to me, and that is anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety for 20 more years, and luckily a few years ago I found some methods and some things I'm going to cover in this video that really helped me get through a horrible anxiety that I've dealt with ever since I was a kid. What's the difference between stress and anxiety? Well, basically, I'm not going to use a lot of terms in general. I'm just going to use what I know. So stress in general, I think we all deal with stress. And with stress, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. Although we can get by day to day, it's a very annoying feeling, stress. Well, anxiety is very different. When you have anxiety, it's stress and imagination working with a severe fear, worst case scenario at all time, panic attacks, but worst of all, it's debilitating because you can't even do anything. You're so afraid. Let's say you're sitting in a room somewhere, you don't even want to leave the room. You're so afraid. And it's so difficult to explain to people because basically what happens is you get stuck in your own thoughts and you start thinking the worst case scenario. Well, with that said, because I've dealt with it for so long, I looked into things and I was like, I really got to get over anxiety. So here's a few steps and a few things that I learned about my anxiety and how I got over them. So I learned that my anxiety was always at its worst when I wasn't going to the gym regularly. I had nowhere to burn off my energy. So I'm very high energy in general. I tend to, move a lot and just, my brain's always going, that type of thing. Well, I started going to the gym when I was quite young. I think I was maybe 16. I was in high school and I just started lifting weights. And that's a good way for me to burn off energy and basically get my mind on something totally different. Well, whenever I find I'm going to the gym and I'm burning off this energy, I don't deal with anxiety, or I didn't deal with anxiety because I don't necessarily deal with it anymore. Now it's just stress. So going to the gym and having something to burn off my energy was a great thing. So I went through periods in my life where, I'd be working and I'd be on the road 2-3 months at a time, and even just growing up, just going through things, and I wouldn't go to the gym for a few months at a time. And at those points, I would find that, guess what, my anxiety would get really bad. I didn't have an outlet to burn off energy. So going to the gym for me was key. If you're dealing with anxiety and you're not working out, you're not exercising in any way, shape, or form, whether it be 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 days a week, you may want to look into that. Because for me, it's been great. Right now I go to the gym maybe 4 to 5 times a week. I find if I start to, miss and I'm going 3 days, 2 days or less, stress in my life just starts to go up. Not necessarily anxiety and panic attacks, but stress starts to go up. So I really have to keep that routine in my life of exercising and working out. So that's step number 1, is finding an area in my life to burn off energy. Secondly, I'm a huge reader, and I started reading for a lot of different reasons, but I got really interested in kind of psychology and how the brain works and body language and everything like that, and I just wanted to know how it all worked. So I started to read a lot of things on anxiety and stress in general, and I came across a book. It's called Taming Your Gremlin. Taming Your Gremlin by Rick Carson. Now, out of all the books I've read, this book in general has been life-changing for me. I believe everybody should read it. You don't have to be somebody going through anxiety, but everybody should read it because what it talks about is getting out of your own way. This book is great because it talks about those doubts, that negative self-talk, and basically what Rick Carson does is he labels all that negativity and that self-talk as something called your gremlins. And those are basically what are talking to you, and he puts a face to that thing that you don't know what it is, and it's very relatable when you read the book and you're like, whoa, this is basically what's going on for me. So he basically talks about anxiety and fears and all that stuff. What I'm getting at with this book and anxiety is he taught me a method, and this was really, really difficult to, really put into practice. Like, he is getting it into practice. He just talks about stopping and breathing. When you start to spiral out of control, stop and breathe. But the number one thing he does really teach you is he teaches you to sit with the feeling. And that is scary as hell, let me tell you. So if you ever start to go through fear, sadness, loneliness, anxiety, anything like that, the last thing you want to do is feel that feeling. Well, the first thing I know that all of us tend to do is we shouldn't feel like that. Well, that's even worse for that feeling, because when you're trying to resist the feeling, it gets worse and worse and worse. So basically what I learned to do is if I have any fear, anxiety, stress, stop for a moment, sit with it, realize you're going through it, don't even question it, and just feel it. And it's really, really strange to do when you first begin to do it, because you don't want to feel that way. But the better you get at it, it just makes that feeling melt away. It's not like you're even trying to resist it in any way, shape, or form, but it does help to melt it away. So something I learned to do is, and this took me a couple of years to figure out, you may be a lot faster with it. When you start to feel afraid, sad, stressed, anxiety, anything, stop, realize, you want to take a few deep breaths, just breathe. Feel that feeling and watch it slowly melt away. That's been huge in my life. Stop resisting the feelings. You're human. You're allowed to feel certain ways. And in this book, that really, really teaches you that we all deal with, negative self-talk, doubts, everything like that. And if you have anxiety, read this book. It's really, really helpful for me. So one of the last steps is, as you guys know, I make a lot of supplement videos, and I took a ton of supplements to deal with anxiety. Now, some of the key kinds of supplements are adaptogens. Adaptogens are the type of, let's say, herbs that help the body to cope with how you deal with stress. So they strengthen your body's ability to deal with stress. So I've dealt with a lot of those. So you look for adaptogenic herbs. Also, I looked for some herbs that would help to calm me down. So with that, I was taking 4 or 5 different bottles of everything. But if this product was around Viva Anxiety, when I was dealing with anxiety, I did a video on Viva Stress, and I just take that for daily stress in general. But Viva Anxiety is really, really good if you're dealing with anxiety, because it has ashwagandha, it has holy basil, and those are fantastic adaptogenics. They help your body to cope with stress better. So it's very difficult to explain until you start using it, because you start using it and stuff starts to bounce off of you. You'll feel stress, and then the stress kind of disappears. Some other things I was taking as herbs to help to calm me down, and products to help to calm me down. And one was L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid found in green tea. And when you take it, it just takes the edge off. Well, Viva Anxiety has L-theanine in it. It also has passion flower. So passion flower is really good. Again, I don't want to say as a sedative to put you to sleep, but it helps to calm you down. So it's really, really good if you ever feel like a panic attack coming on and you have some L-theanine, you take that, 20, 30 minutes later, you feel you're like, oh, I can handle stuff again. It's really, really cool. You still have full motor function. You can go driving, you can do a lot of things when you're on L-theanine, but it just takes the edge off. Now, another thing that Viva Anxiety has in it is Crea Boost. and that's a type of American ginseng. I did do a video on this. It really helps mental focus when you take this Kriya Boost. Is it called Kriya Boost? Yeah, Kriya. Sarah Boost, Kriya Boost. I think I always name it the wrong thing, but it just helps the body to focus better. If you're watching this and you deal with anxiety, you know that when you're going through an anxiety attack, a panic attack, anything like that, you can't get your thoughts straight. They're shooting all over to the worst. When you're able to really center your focus, it's so much better because you can start to think again. So everything you need in here, some stuff to calm you down, some stuff to strengthen your body's resistance to stress in general, how you handle it, and something to help you, focus. Viva Anxiety is really good. Like I said, I was taking like 4 or 5 bottles of different things, and how I got over anxiety really quickly was when I started using these on a regular basis, along with, the reading and working out, that type of thing. It really worked in about 2 weeks. And honestly, the more I stick with it, I don't deal with anxiety anymore. And that's really, really important. Another thing is figuring out your triggers. We all have habits, ways that things stress us out, and then we have habits in the way that we react to them. So figure out what those triggers are. So my triggers another one was eating. I would find that if I was skipping breakfast a lot, and that would make my blood sugar levels all crazy. And then I would lose my appetite. And then I'd turn into a panic attack. And then I'd get an anxiety attack. And it was really, really scary. So I really learned my triggers, and one of them was not eating like every 3 hours. So I get up, I eat, and I make sure I have all my snacks in the first part of the day. The last half of the day, I don't deal with I didn't deal with the panic attacks before. But in the morning time, I would just find that I would feel awful if I didn't eat, breakfast and a little snack and then my lunch. I'd start to sweat, I'd shake, I'd get a lot of nausea, and that would send me directly in a panic attack. A panic attack sometimes would last 2 to 3 hours. So very, very scary stuff. I hope this video has helped you deal with anxiety, or if you want any advice on dealing with anxiety, in no way, shape, or form am I a therapist, but I can tell you some little things that I've done for my anxiety. If you email me at shanespilltalk@yahoo.com, or put me a comment below, and I'll answer that as quickly as I can. Subscribe to the channel, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. Stay healthy, stay motivated. I will see you in the next video. Talk to you later.